All right. Well, I get often asked what is one of my new favorite pieces of gear, and actually, I just did this on a podcast the other day with Seek Outside. They said, "What's your new favorite piece of gear from the last season?" And hands down, every single time, it is my Hardside hydration uh, bottle bladder. I don't know what you want to call it. Uh,
Bottle adapter.
Bottle adapter, bladder adapter, whatever you want to call it. These guys made like took the best of both worlds when it came to Nalgene's and bladders. And being somebody from the West, like we just suck a lot more water than a lot of you guys who are up. We carry a lot more water, and we need bladders. We need that system because we don't have a lot of water down here. And but there's always an issue of popping bladders and dealing with that. And I was actually at Go Hunt last year in like April, and they had the hard sides in their showroom, and I bought a hard side setup. And man, it was probably the best piece of gear I bought all last season. I ran it all year. I actually had a hunt where a camera guy's bladder fell apart, and he had to borrow my water. And I made some videos for Dane, and I actually got to meet Dane and his partner at a few TAC events, and just become friends with the two guys. And I just wanted to have them on. So Dane Williams, man, Hardside Hydration, how are you doing, dude?
Oh man, doing great. Doing great. Yeah, it was fun to meet you. I guess back probably in Montana, we met there at the Big Sky Tack. That was the first time I met you. You stopped
Yeah,
by and was like, "Hey, we got to get on." Yeah,
yeah.
but
I know. I've been trying to get you on the podcast for a year, man. You're just too hard to get
yeah.
on.
Well, yeah, I've been tuning into a lot of your podcasts, and it's been very entertaining and good to listen to.
Oh,
Yeah, and
thanks.
then yeah, we were down in Denver. I got to hang out with Dylan down there at the Mile High Expo. So
Yeah, I got to
and
see
so
it.
yeah,
I think you
Western
saw
Hunt
you at
Expo. So
Western Hunt,
yeah,
Sheep. If you think of Utah
yeah,
tax, we've hung out a lot since then. So it's just I really do love supporting other brands in my space as well. Even though your product is so easy to transcend our space, like your product easily will transcend into REI and stuff like that as well.
hmm
But you guys at the core are you're wearing a marsupial right now. You guys are hunters, and you guys created a product to solve
yeah,
a problem that we all had, man. And let's talk about it. I mean, I guess we can talk when you started, but I'm sure it started way before that. So where'd you get the
yeah,
idea? What's
yeah.
what's
It
happening?
started. I mean, really way back. Like, I guess if we're going way back, I kind of was doing some archery elk hunting in Colorado, and kind of came on. Popped the bladder and was like, like your buddy did on your hunt there, and was like super annoyed because I really didn't have another container to carry. We were running hunting some higher country where there wasn't water everywhere, but I was down to like a bottle, a Nalgene, and a lot of the other guys had other, had some bladders too. But it was just like, man, it was super annoying, and we kind of always had that idea. I was hunting with a group of guys, but back I think 2020, I took Dustin, my partner, him and I became friends basically with our kids being in the same grade and playing basketball, old man basketball together, and got to hang out and kind of really, I was like, hey, we got to get out and hunt. So I took him and we went hunting, and he's an engineer, so kind of he had popped a bag of water as well, and we're like, and he's the kind of guy we were bouncing ideas off each other of, just different brand idea, different products we could work on and improve in the hunting market. And he was like, hey, we can actually do that one. So from there, he began doing he has a 3D printer and started 3D printing some caps. At that time, we both lived in Michigan. I'm from Michigan originally, and we both are. And I had spent a lot of time out in Wyoming, kind of guiding and hunting, and always wanted to be living in the mountains more, which is where we live now, is Montana. So Dustin moved last year, so we've kind of moved our operations to
Oh, you guys are
Montana.
both
So
in Montana now, huh?
yeah, yeah. So I kind
Wow,
of
that's
went
awesome.
first and kind of loaded up the family and made it happen. So. But yeah, so it was just kind of that's how our idea was born. Was kind of from being annoyed with what was currently available. And it was simple as making a cap and a way to allow air to come into there without leaking and being able to drink through a tube. So we run it in a side bottle pocket of the pack, and it's a setup that we use ourselves. And we obviously there's tons of different bottles, so it's kind of we made it for Nalgene, but it worked with Yeti Yonder and lots of different things. And there's ways to expand like that, but we tried to kind of hit we simply at the beginning just made a cap because, and we made our cap so that any hose on the market could plug on there, so that people could just, basically take a cap and put it on an Nalgene and use the hose they had, and they could have a water kit. So yeah,
Yep. So just so I can break down what you guys do, so in case people don't know,
yeah,
understand what Hearts hydration is it's a Nalgene style cap and also like a smart water style cap. You make some of those as well. That'll screw onto
yeah,
any bottle and now turn it into a bladder and give you a hose. So now it's the
yeah.
best of both
I
worlds. And so like when I run your system,
yeah.
I don't run what I run is the 48 ounce like
Prop.
that right there. That's my
There you go.
system right there. I,
Yeah,
I run the
yeah,
48-ounce bottle, and then I'll run like another 32 or two 32s in my backpack, right? And that gets you through a day. So typically I'm carrying probably 3 Nalgene's total. Because in the West, if I'm somewhere where I get a lot of water, I don't do that. But if I'm going to be
yeah.
out in like New Mexico, I like to have about 3 liters of water. But I don't like having a bladder because they pop. It just stinks. So I'll run the 48 ounce on my side, and I'll run like 1 or 2 Nalgene's inside my pack. Um, Typically two, because I like to have one for like to mix up some Mountain Ops Ignite or something, or some hydrate in the middle of
Yeah.
the day, and I run my 48 ounce on the side, and it's just been awesome. Like I've loved it. It's just made my life so much easier when it comes to it's. Plus, it's like right there on the side. It's not in my backpack. Um, it's an awesome piece of gear, and the cool thing is about that Nalgene is everything kind of fits a Nalgene, right? The Nalgene lid. It's kind of everything's kind of Nalgene's kind of like the gold standard. It's kind of like the Arca Swiss of bladders is the
Right.
Nalgene lid. So you can get like everything I have is Nalgene or is the Nalgene threads, right? So like my bottles, even some of my bladders, and then also I use like the Dromalite bags, like the 10-liter
Mhm.
bags and or 6 liter and 4 liter bags. I use those, and those are Nalgene as well. So it's just really a universal system, and you guys really just knocked it out of the park. Like I said, man, like I was on a hunt this year and I had to literally share my water with my camera guy. I've got some funny videos of it because his bladder popped. And I haven't found a way to break mine. I did go through and I ended up tie wiring all my stuff together and get it really tight, just like
Yeah,
because I kept ripping some
yeah.
stuff off.
That sun
Um,
will heat up the
but
hoses. We started carrying some clamps on the
yeah,
website, and things like that. But yeah,
yeah, some clamps. I ended up doing just using zip ties and pulling it real tight. I think I might use some real thin tie wire on a couple of them just to get every connection. But that's just like
Mhm.
anything, right? Like I blue Loctite all my stuff as well. Like if you're gonna be out in the field, it's not a big deal for a normal dude, but like for somebody like me who's like crawling through Manzanita all the time and like getting things caught on stuff, it kind of annoyed me. So I ended up zip tying my stuff together. But man, like it's just an awesome system. And right now, I don't see a better one out there for me.
Yeah, that's good to hear. We definitely use it a lot, and it's versatile, and it yeah, we added a filter this year. It's something that's it's good for a lot of situations. If you're day hunting and stuff, you can just drop that filter in there. But as an overall container, it's a great setup. So and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and
we've
you can run
been
it on the
we've been
48s or the 32s. You can cut your
yeah,
straws, whatever you want to do. It doesn't have to be just on the 48. You can run any Nalgene you want and have a bladder
yeah.
system.
Yeah, and Yeti Yonder also makes a 50-ounce bottle. It's a little wide at the base, a little wider. Some of the bottle holders, it struggles to fit in there. But I'm with you. That 48-ounce bottle is perfect for me. And then I'll bring like a big Smart Water bottle or another Nalgene 48 or something. And then I do bring carry a bag too that I can roll up if we're going in areas where there's not a lot of water and stuff. So, but yeah, filtering
Yeah, we should
into
talk
it is
about
nice.
that. Like what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was going to say, with that
we
quick
should talk
disconnect, you can run,
about right. Yeah,
yeah, run that in there.
run right in there and do it. Yeah. So like my water system, we should talk about your water system and my water system, like how I run
Let's do
mine.
it.
So what I do now is I use an MSR gravity filter. I used to use an MSR pump, but it's just like your risk. It's normally I'm with,
Hmm.
like I'm going out next week. We're going to Montana. It'll be me, Brad Hunt, and Cody Rich, all hunting bears. I bring my gravity system. I bring 3 Dromalite bags, 2 6 liters and a 4 liter, and I'm able to pump 16 liters of water, and I'll do that. And then I'll just every day, I think we're gonna be back there for like 6 days on this hunt. I'll just, you know, fill my bladder or my bottles up and then go out. And I really find the gravity system to be best. But are you a squeeze guy? How are you doing your water?
I like, I originally we would like really test, especially if we were hunting with a group of guys like that Hiker Pro, the pump filter like the MSR one you were talking about. Those seem to be really quick, but I've
Yep.
since kind of switched to using I do run our filter in the bottle, but I also run the like a Be Free, the Catadine Squeeze, and that comes in a 1 liter.
Yep.
But they also have a gravity filter too, and I have one ready to go. I
Yeah,
just
the
haven't
Catavan's
busted it out
a
yet.
nice gravity
Yeah,
filter.
yeah. That
Man, the
they got a
gravity
10 liter.
filters,
Yeah.
yeah, the gravity filters are where it's at, man. I'm telling you, try it this
Oh
year
yeah.
with the 10 because you fill a 10-liter bag up and then you just like lay down next to the stream while your stuff fills up.
Right.
It's really
That's
nice.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to. I'm going to test out that 10 liter. I carried the 1 liter a lot last year, just kind of quick and easy. And then I would have we were kind of in the product in the process of testing our filter, so I was running that, and then a smart water bottle, and then I had another just some other roll bags like that. I want to try to get some of those Drama Light too. They look pretty durable. So
Yeah, I have the nylon ones or whatever they are. They're not the canvas ones, they're a little bit lighter, and I haven't had any issues
mhm.
with them. But yeah, my thing with water is like pumping water sucks, right? Like pumping water, no matter
Yeah,
making water sucks, no matter how you do it, you squeeze it, whatever.
right.
So I like running, just sitting down for an hour and just doing 16 liters and being done for 2 days or whatever it is, a couple days, right? 16 liters get me through a few days with a couple guys. So that's why I like the gravity filters. I definitely recommend them. So you have a new one now too, where you can actually put the water right into the bottle and suck through it.
Yeah, and scoop right out of a creek, and you have dirty water, which if as we continue to grow, we're working on ways to make that easier to get that water out besides drinking. But if you're only using that, now you're kind of only using dirty water. You have dirty water in this analogy, and so it's like, okay, when you go to make meals, like it's really nice. Like for fishing, we got some like so I have a couple guide friends that are testing them out with using our filter and just a small, shorter straw, so they on the go, so they can drink. Kind of dip it in the creek out of the boat and be able to drink and go. But yeah, that's a it's a durable setup. So yeah, it's kind of nice to just because ours I don't notice a flow difference, so I can kind of have that filter in there, and then if I am using like a 1 liter bag, I have another. It's a backup filtration because if I were to pop that bag, I'd have something to work still. So.
Yeah, I always carry the pills, right? So I always have like the pills in my thing
Mhm.
just in case. But I am kind of weird about putting things like putting dirty water into my stuff.
Yeah,
Like I'm not a big like I don't like the Steri pens. Like, I'm not a
same.
Steripin guy because I don't like all the chunks and stuff in there, you know what I mean? I'm just like,
Yeah,
which is different with a bladder, right? With a filter in your bottle 'cause you're not gonna get that into your straw, but, like, I don't know, there's something to me about, like, I wanna keep my like, I always have a dirty bags and clean bag. I want my clean to be clean, right? So I have a hard time with that.
same.
But it is a cool system, and, like, if I was doing some, like, through trekking or something like that, like in the Sierras, I could see where I'd wanna run that, and I would run that. So like that's where I'd really
Yeah,
like that because say I'm just going light and I just want to run my one bottle, I could. And I'm in the like I use the Sierra as an example, but if you're in Montana, everywhere, right? There's creeks. You could just be literally filling that
water
thing up and
everywhere.
keep going, and I can see like be really water everywhere, right? Like I can see how that'd be
Yeah,
really beneficial. I probably should pick one of those up for some of those like I have some August stuff going on in Sierras. Like it's just nice to have that situation where you don't have to worry about pumping or laying down and doing it. It's just always on you, and you can be lighter, or you're not having to carry around. Like sometimes I can carry, and depending where I am, just 132 ounce Nalgene, and it'll get me through a whole day because I'm able to fill it up every 100 yards, just water.
yeah. And I don't know how you are. I drink a ton of water, and I know when I'm out hunting with Dustin or other, everybody drinks different amounts, and I always carry some supplements too, whether it's Black Flag or Element or something with. I do like the hydrate type mixes, so some energy too. Wilderness athlete. I try all the different ones, but yeah, it's coming up with the right kit and stuff. So, but yeah, it was
Yeah, the
last
hydrates
year
where
we
it's at for me,
yeah.
man.
Me too.
The
Yeah.
hydrates where it's at for me. Like I kind of like I'm not really big like you know what I really like is the Celsius packs. I like those for energy. You get like 10 of them or 12 of them, 15 bucks at Walmart and they taste just as good if not better than the regular Celsius. So I like
Mm.
those for energy. I'll bring some of those along. But man, like I can't get through a day anymore without drinking hydrate. So like I do Element, I do Mountain Ops. Black Flag doesn't have one yet. I do Black Flags. I have some of their Revenge. I use that for the gym and stuff. Um, but I buy like some like just stuff off Amazon too. It comes in like a bottle that I can just put in there. Really, I like the saltier the better. I want zero sugar in my stuff,
I'm with
and
you.
I want salt because I'll make so like I'll do like when I do like the elements, I just make sure I do it like 32 ounces of water. I can't do it in 16. It's too salty. But I do hydrate some sort of a hydrate powder twice a day probably now. And I just feel better. Like when you drink something, when you drink all that salt, get all that hydrated in you, you just feel more energized.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I started. I didn't. Yeah, those elements are definitely loaded. I tried mixing it in 24 ounce, and it was like, oof, that's a little much. But yeah, I'm
The
excited.
elements,
I really didn't. I had, and I like the Mountain Ops has the hydrate, that lemon lime flavor. I had some of that last year, and that was good. But I'm with you. I bring that a lot, and but I just drink a ton of water too. So for me, it's always being able to, even if and being able to have extra where I can get to 6 to 10 liters or something, and be able to have that capacity. So, but,
yeah, I think 3 liters a day is the goal you should have when you're backpacking. I think you should try and drink 3 liters a day, which is basically a gallon, right? Like you just
mhm.
like you can't tell me you don't need it because like you take your backpack off and your backpack is soaked. Right? Even if it's 50
Yeah,
degrees out, your backpack is just soaked with sweat, right? Like you're just dumping sweat out of you, dumping salt out of you. That's why I'm really big on the salt supplements and the hydrate. But like water is so important. And I'm always like, oh, my kids don't drink enough water. I'm like, dude, drink more water, drink more water. And honestly,
yeah,
I hydrate in the mornings too. Like before I leave camp, I'll smash a full 32-ounce Nalgene and then fill it up again, then go because like you get the water in you for the day. You know what I mean? Like you just need to be you need that water in you, and it's so important to a successful hunt, to not cramping, to not being tired. Just it helps so much. I don't understand some of these guys who like skimp on the water. I'm like, just drink it,
I know. That's the thing with our kit is like, it is nice to know what you have left as you're hiking, just like if you a normal bottle, so it's
dude.
nice to be able to look out there and say, and on pack outs, I've noticed that a lot. I remember I shot elk in Colorado, and it was a hot day, and we were coming out, and it was like 6 miles, and I filled up like 5 times at every river crossing, but it was nice when I was crossing to be able to get in there, and those bladders are buried in your pack. Especially if you get calling meat, you're not really going to dive into that as much. But
Yeah, so
yeah,
that was you're running the filter then at that point. That's why you're refilling it all the time.
I was running, I was digging into I was filtering. That was a while back before we had our filter. But that was, I think 2 years ago, just having our kit on the outside, it's handy for being able to know, when you need to fill up and stuff like that. And, yeah, well,
Yeah,
as
and it's a
far
lot
as,
lighter than 3 liters, man.
yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah. We always have when we're at the TAC events. I know you go to a lot of them too. We'll have, it never fails. Like once a day, somebody will come by with a broken, they got a bag that they've been kind of limping by that's been broken. And we're like, hey, we started doing last year, like, all right, bladder diaries. You tell us your story, we'll hook you up with a new kit. So,
Yeah, for sure. All right, so you got this idea. You guys start 3D printing some stuff. This is the typical redneck engineering because you guys
yep.
definitely, you've never made a bladder before. You're not from. He's an engineer, so I guess you got a little bit more than a redneck engineer there. But
Yeah.
so you start making it, and when does first product launch?
So 2021, we launched it in July, and we really just never had social media. Never, Dustin has my partner there had started a few other businesses, just small type stuff, but kind of got all that stuff up and running, and we got our product out in 2021 that summer, and we really didn't do any events. We were just trying to get them in as many people's hands as possible. It's a different product, so we were kind of calling people and kind of hustling, trying to see if we can get that out, how we can get it, see what people think, and test it for us, and we've made a couple changes with some stuff. Then we didn't even have a hose, and we really worked with a company there in Ohio to develop a hose that no one else is using in the hydration industry. It has a liner that eliminates that plastic taste, so we were really working on that, and we noticed like the hoses we could get, you bend them a little bit and they would start to, you get a kink in there. And so
Yeah.
really kind of got that our orange and clear, and we got a clay color. We got those. So once we got those dialed, that was probably 20. We even changed the formula a little bit because of like what you talked about. We noticed in the sun some of those the hose would kind of expand a little bit. So we made some changes with the thickness of it, and kind of have been working on getting that dialed. And yeah, so we launched it in 2021, and then that winter we were like, we should try to go to Western Hunt Expo. So we kind of we just loaded up, and that was like our first ever event. Somehow we got in there before there was like a massive list of people, and
Oh, really? You got
really,
in there before?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, we got in there in 22, and that was kind of coming off of whatever COVID stuff was going on, where they didn't have it one year, and people were wondering, and we're like, shit, man, we got to go for that. So we got a small 10 by 10, and then got to meet some great people in the industry, and like Go Hunt, they've been a wonderful partner, and we've sold a lot, right from the start. We got to meet some of those guys. Just we had reached out, and they stopped by our booth, and I think it was Brian Campos, and talked with him for a while, and they started carrying our product, and that was great. So yeah, it's just building those friendships and stuff. But really, that all started that that year in 22 is when people started kind of really finding it. So yeah, from then we've just continued to make some changes, and like I said, bring everything, move where we can make it to a lot more events out here in Montana. And we're always kind of working to get our product out to the backpacking community a little more too, because we're hunters, so it's kind of a different thing. I don't know. It's kind of different for me because I feel like a lot of as backpack hunters, we use a lot of backpacking gear, but we're hunters bringing a product that we made for backpack hunting to the backpackers. But it's kind of, I think, like we're doing a really big event in the Pacific Crest Trail Days this year. It'll be our first a backpacking event. We're taking it there, so we're going to go to Oregon and Washington area and see how it goes. So
Yeah. I mean, no offense to the hunting industry, but, like, if I'm running Hardside hydration, like, my main focus is on that. Like,
yeah,
it's like, you're a hunting company first, right, which I love, like, Tricer's the same way,
yeah,
but there is so much more money for Hardside hydration at REI than there is at Go Hunt or,
it
partnering with
is.
Tricer or whatever. Because like, it's just
Yeah,
that I mean, dude, like, you go to REI, like, I'm not calling yourself a gimmick. Dude, there's, like you can't even find a parking spot at REI. Anytime you go to any REI, it's just full of people in there just buying everything. Every gimmick
yeah,
item on the shelf, dude. These guys have got, like, special shovels to bury their crap. I mean, all this I mean, like, it's they buy it all, and
everything.
I'm like and, like, Hardside's like a legitimate product, like, you guys would crush at REI, like, I don't like, that's where I'd be like, "We gotta get you an REI, like, right now,"
Yeah,
because it's like, you would just kill in that place because those guys just buy everything, dude. They're in there, I mean, like, every different color sock you can imagine, all this funny different crap, and it's like, they love it, man, that you would crush in that backpacking space, and I do like
yeah,
what you said because I feel like Tricer's the same way, right? Like, you're a
yeah,
hunting company
birding, and
first,
just tons of,
right? And it
yeah,
transcends
yeah,
those guys. And so that same thing with Tricer, right? Like we're a hunting company first, and then now we're starting to like I have like a really high end camera. Luke Dusenberry's on the staff. He has a camera. Mike Hearn, Alex Miller. All of us are photographers as well, right? Or at least inspiring photographers. But we're hunters first,
hmm,
right? So we're like trying to figure that transition out for Tricer because the stuff works really well, but we're never going to be a photography company. We're always going to be a hunting company
right,
first. And I think it's a because like I can't expect you just to like stop hunting and become like a through hiker, right? Like you're going to be a hunter, and that's where these problems are solved. But hunters have so many more problems than non-hunters because like not only do we have the same gear they do, we have the ultralight gear, but then we add on rifles, optics, and all this other stuff, right? And
yeah.
we're off the trail.
A pack
So
that
like we
can,
really,
yeah, a
yeah,
pack
carry
that
an
can
animal.
carry,
I mean, like we,
up to 150 pounds, 20 pounds, or and then, yeah,
yeah, I'd love to run a, one of those hyperlight backpacks, you know what I mean? That weighs 2 pounds, but no, I'd run my initial ascent. It weighs like 6 pounds, right? Like, or an Eberly stock and it weighs 6, it's just but it's a different thing for it, right? But as long as you're continuing to innovate, I'd encourage you to continue to innovate within your mindset and what you do, not what they do, right? Because there's a
Mhm.
bunch of guys already doing what they do. It's the guys like you who are doing what we do who can really bring stuff in. And I love seeing that transition from the hunting space to the through space instead of the backwards way. Because a lot of it is like all of our technical apparel, thank God for Jason Hairston starting Sitka, like it came from
Yeah.
REI. Like it wasn't like it came the other way, right? A lot of our stuff comes the other way. And now you're seeing like our teepees really start transcending into like you see Seek Outside really pushing into that through hiker space, but it's a hunting company first, right? It's really neat to see
Mhm.
these hunting companies starting to bridge into that space. And it's I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely neat to see. And like you said, a lot of REI is it's an interesting store, and they got some awesome stuff there. And you go in and there's all these meals I've never seen before. Just different stuff. But yeah, we originally when we first launched, we were in contact. Actually, an influencer, kind of had posted our stuff, and REI had reached out. And we submitted a video. We need to probably. They said, "Oh, come back. Do it again in 6 months." And we just were like, we will do it again. But um, yeah, it would be great. We've been getting into some retail stores. It's been great. So yeah, the
Are you
biggest one
guys in
recently.
Shields yet?
Yeah, we are. This is our just this year. Uh, 2 months ago, yeah, 2 months ago we did. We're in 16 different stores. So but one of the stores is real close here, Missoula store, to where we're at. So we're kind of working with them on some display stuff and trying to figure out the best way to showcase everything. So, but yeah, Shields it's been great to get some of our product there to where people can go check it out at a store local. So
Good for you. Yeah, Shield's been a great partner for us. So is Go Hunt. There's quite a few, but man, you can get into some places I can't go. Yeah, you know what I mean. We're actually talking right now, like doing on our web page because we're starting to go. We're getting a lot more. We picked up like B&H photography. A lot of photography people are reaching out to us now wanting to use our stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to make two web pages. So I think we're gonna do like on the when you go in, you can click on hunting or photography right there, and then like through
yeah,
photography because like we're a hunting company. Like I don't want to do two like so I'm like, oh, if you don't want to see all the bipods and shooting wrists and all that stuff, click this one. It'll bring you to the same website, but it'll be like the photography lines of just the different tripods and 360 and the so it was, but it's just part of it. It's part of growth. You got to, but like I said, we're hunting first. What so you've got the bottles. What else are you guys doing? You guys got anything in the works? Anything new? We talk about it, or is it a
we
little
have some
secret?
insulation sleeves that we run on there. The filter was always one that was kind of like we would always get the question, is this a filtration system? So it was nice kind of adding that into the line there. So
Hmm.
a lot of
Hmm.
the stuff, it would be kind of working on if we are going to change the cap is something we're maybe working on in the future. But right now it's kind of working on just kind of scaling up what we have to be able to keep up with stuff here with the orders from retail and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I would say is like you guys, if you're not even in a tenth of the market of what you guys could be in right now with what you guys are selling, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's get you into every freaking REI and
Yeah.
Big Five and Dick's Sporting Goods and all those different markets, right? And really just scale this
Yeah.
thing off of what you're making because you're making a phenomenal product. I can say I do like the insulation sleeve. I went put the insulation sleeve on like midway through last season and I like it. It kept my water a little bit cooler, especially because I feel like every hunt I went on last year was in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. It works for both of those. We were at some of the tax there in Utah, and it was people were like, man, they were buying those more than our other kit just because just keeping that water bottle. They were holding ice in it for the morning. It was like, yeah, that's pretty sweet. So I find that a lot of people some people like ice cold water, and that's the only way they'll drink it. And some, I'm like, whatever, I'll just go. But so, but yeah, it's a
Have you
it's a
guys
good
thought
good
about
option.
doing like a? Have you guys thought? So, if everyone listening, there's a little bit of delay between me and Dane right now. That's why you're
Yeah,
getting
I
us like a
noticed
little
that.
bit off. Like when he stops, I go to talk, and they're like, there's a little delay. Sorry. So, have you guys thought about doing like almost like a rectangular like sleeve, like a 3-liter bladder that can slide in the back of a pack? Like, you know what I mean? Like, like that, like something that's like 10 inches wide and 20 inches long, an inch and a half deep, just a hard plastic one with a nice nalgene. You thought about doing something like that? Am I blowing the lid off something right now or what?
We are definitely we found somebody in the U.S. we can work with to design some containers like that. Just changing some bottles. Making you know there's some things that are very annoying with even with an allergen. So it's trying to make those that. But and yes, when we originally launched, we had an idea for a container that would fit in that like in your sleeve of your backpack where the bladder would go that would be more rigid and it's kind of like the weight and
Yeah.
but that yeah so yeah we have some ideas for that and hopefully
Yeah, because
have a
I would like that.
yeah
I'd like that a lot, I think, in there, and it wouldn't
yeah
be
and if
so
we
bad.
do
Like, I feel like
yeah
yeah.
yeah
I feel like an Nalgene or not a bladder sometimes can be like a little bit protrude a little bit, because they kind of like blow out, and then they sink in, take up a lot of space. But if it was like wider and thinner, and it was like a fixed cube in there, like it'd be kind of nice to have that in my pack, like a fixed. I don't
yeah
know what it would be. I mean, almost like a roto pack, roto packs for the going to all
yeah
these off road vehicles, like something like that in my backpack.
Yeah, very like almost like a big flask is what we were considering. Something that would be shaped like that that would hold 3 liters or even two because a normal bladder is going to get you around. The biggest ones are the bigger ones are 3 to 2 liters. So somewhere in there that is going to be a durable option would be awesome. So
Yeah, like you have to find some cute name for it, like the no break bladder or the bladder buster, or I don't know, the bladder buster
yeah,
2000. I don't know. Something
yeah,
like that, something kind of some kind of thing. Because I would run that thing in a heartbeat, man. Because I like having 3 liters on me, like I said. So if I didn't have to have so many bottles on me, like I'd be into it.
yeah. Drop that in there, and you could plug it between the different kits and stuff. Yeah, Dustin, the name he liked was the hard cider. That's what we were gonna call that one. I'll drop that name. Yeah, the hard cider inside.
Hard
Yeah,
cider.
I'm like,
There
it
you
kind of
go.
sounds like you're
That's
talking
good.
about hard cider, but I don't. Yeah.
What have been some of the most? I mean, are you going full time now, hard side, or how long? Are you still doing two jobs?
So I'm Dustin and I both are doing 2 jobs. I was pretty close to. I've been both of us are yeah. I've been with I work with wildlife services in that industry. So with the federal government, with USDA, so animal damage, human conflict. That's what I've been doing for 17 years. So yeah, it's been a great career, and yeah, I was pretty close to hanging it up there, but just because of things are going really good with Hardside. So it's been fun because we bootstrapped this business and kind of just got it going, and we've been able to kind of learn as we're going, and not just dive all in at the start. So it's been nice, kind of a balance. I have three kids and a family, and so does Dustin. So we've been able to kind of grow, and it's getting to the point where it's time for me to probably start. Dustin has another job, full time job too. So, but yeah, we've been able to make it work, but it's long hours and stuff. So yeah,
That's what people don't understand about entrepreneurship is right. You look at I get it all the time with Tricer, like, oh man, Tricer just blew up. And it's like, oh, it didn't blow up. It's been this like slow
yeah,
brewing thing for 15 years, right? Like I've been doing this thing
yeah,
forever, like trying to get it to where it is between all my other companies and learning um and yes, we started in 2020 and now it's doing really well and I'm doing it full time. But like, man, like it's the 16-hour days that no one sees that really
hmm
build a business, right? It's the willingness to just travel, go to shows, and just grind, right? Like we have a new COO coming on at Tricer to help run the business for me, and like one of the big things, like when hiring him, was like, I need to know that I can call you at midnight on Sunday, and you're gonna answer the phone, right? Because that's how this thing runs. Like it's just we have to like I want people who want to eat, sleep, and breathe this thing and give it everything they have, right? Like, yeah, I'm tired, but keep going. And that's what it takes to really build a business, would you say?
yeah. I would agree. And we'll be in hopefully soon get into some of that of like finding trying to find like-minded people to help, help us with our dream of growing Hardside to what we hope it can be, and that I'm with you, trying to find those people that are kind of like your ride or die kind of person. Like, hey man, we need you. I mean, because sometimes I'm up there till 3 a.m. trying to package, get ready for a show, and dusting, shipping stuff, and our wives are doing stuff, and our kids are putting stuff together, and we're just trying to make it all work, and we got, and yeah, I know you're a father too. It's a fun time, and that's kind of where we've grown as fast as we wanted to, I guess. So with traveling and everything, and like this May, last year I went to like a ton of different events, and I'm like, man, I'm just gonna like just chill for like a month here. I'll be ready to hit it harder here in June. But as like last year, I was pretty going with some of that. So yeah. Um, yeah, I got 3 boys and baseball and trying to get them into turkey, all the hunting stuff, and so it's busy times, but I love it, and yeah, it would make things easier just only be focusing on hard side, but as far as like work wise, but yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, you really it takes that though, right? And it does take a sacrifice from a whole family, right? And like I'm just now at a point where I'm spending more time with my kids. Like I was really neglecting my family, and that was the hardest thing for me. That's why I really had to make the decision. Like, hey, I'm going to leave my other job, which I'm the heir apparent to one of the largest sheet metal companies in Southern California, and I'm not anymore. Like I'm not like it's not my company
Yeah.
anymore. My dad's company, and who knows what'll happen with it. But I know that I won't be involved in anything that happens with it. But I had to make a decision for my family. But there is a sacrifice there, right? Like a sacrifice for your wife and your kids. People don't see that, right? Like, and there's this time that you're sacrificing, and and that's really what it came down to in the end for me leaving my old job and coming to do this. Is it was like, man, like I'm losing my kids, I'm losing my wife, like I'm not going to give them the focus I did, and it was the best decision I ever made because yes, it was scary, and yes, it was a pay cut at first to do it, but man, like the freedom it has given me to innovate and create has been, I mean, we've come out with like 15 different products, right? Like, dude, like
Yeah.
I quit. I mean, look at the RP bipod. I mean, like that came out of me quitting and traveling and designing and doing this stuff and spending, 100+ days in the field. That's why I'm in the field all the time. So I'll be in Montana next week with Cody hunting. You know what I mean? Like it's just that's where this innovation comes from. And I couldn't do that doing both jobs anymore, right? I can do it to a little bit. Like I could, you look at it and you're like, man, it's so scary to take that jump. It's so scary to do it. But it's like once you make it, like like there's that point of no return. Like once you go, it's like I got to make it. And like honestly, like
Yeah.
with you, Dane, like wildlife services will always hire you back.
Oh
It's not
yeah.
like you can't get a job, right? I tell
Yeah.
people all the time, like they get so scared to do it. And I'm like, you know what? Like a guy like
Yeah.
Dane, who's a hardworking dude, will always have a job somewhere. So it's like, what's the worst that
Oh
can
yeah.
happen? What's the worst that
Right.
can happen, dude? You know what I mean? But what's the best that can happen? The best that can happen is
Oh,
you
lots
create
of,
this
yeah.
brand that's doing millions of dollars a year in sales, and you get to go hunting with your kids all the time and go to cool tack events and have a good time. And like that's the dream, right? Like I tell them all the time, like I'm living that dream right now. But man, it was scary as heck. It was I probably quit a year too late, a year later than I should have quit because I was scared, man. I had 5 kids to take care of. I have a kid going to college. Like I had to pay I had Cadillac insurance through a union that I had to like now pay for myself. Like it was scary.
Yeah. Yeah. We're there, it'll be happening soon. That's for sure. So, but, and, like you said, that's great to have that time to be thinking about different products and growing. The yeah, the bipod is wonderful. We got it. Dustin and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got ours in. Yeah, we got ours in a couple, maybe a month ago or something. But he's got his. I've been playing around with it a lot. It's going to be fantastic for a lot of different hunts, steep angles, all that good stuff, man. Kid hunting,
dude,
youth
the
hunts. I'm like
reviews.
so pumped. Last year, what I was using, this is going to be it's going to be awesome, man. So
Dude, the reviews have been fun. I think we have like 140 reviews right now. Any of the bad reviews are mostly because people have a hard time with like there's an adapter that turns your pick rail to Arca or to pick,
mm,
your swivel set to pick, and some of the guns it won't work on every single gun because it's like it's a universal mount. You know what I mean? Like it's just
yeah,
it can only do so much,
you
right?
try to cover as many
But
as you can, and
just trying to do as much as I can, right? Like sometimes you just got to put a pick rail on your gun, right? Like I actually install pick
yeah.
rails on my guns, right? Like it's the right thing to do is that. But like, dude, the reviews have been phenomenal, and animals are just dying everywhere. Like, we just went to Africa and shot a pile of animals. Every animal we shot was off that bipod. Dude, my kid just dropped an ostrich at 500 yards, dude. I mean, like, he's like, I got him. I'm like, you sure it's really far? He's like, dude, I got him. 11 years old, dude, just
Solid, you know.
sends this bullet and
And
oh, and
yeah.
it thing just drops to the ground like a deflated balloon, you know. And we had a situation where we were in like some. This is not a Tricer commercial, by the way. This is a Hardside commercial. I want to
No,
talk about
this is
Hardside,
us talking
but
about a
like,
sweet product because we like
yeah,
gear.
we bought, so we like it, right? And then like there was this I keep calling him antelope, impala, and it's 200 yards away, and it's in brush. And all we have is his neck, and we have a fence between us and a bunch of bushes, so we couldn't get prone, and we couldn't get up high enough to shoot him. Like, so we like set him up with a full extension of the bipod, 30 inches tall. Then we put the a rear tripod behind him and put him in locked in. My kid, 11 years old, makes a 200-yard throat shot on this freaking impala and just drops him in his tracks, dude. Like, it's just like it's incredible. It just does everything it needs to do. And it's been my whole point of like where we started talking about that was like that would not have happened, Dustin or Dane, if I didn't quit my other job. Right? Like people ask me to build a bipod forever, but like I was exhausted, dude. Like I was sleeping 4 to 6 hours a night. That's it. And then working and getting up at four. I would get up at 4 a.m. I'd be to work at 5:30, an hour away, and then I'd work all day and to get home at 3 or 4, and then work until 10 o'clock at night. There was not enough time for me to do the innovative part and the growth part. There's only time for me to do the management part. That's where you're getting to right now. Is where you're like kind of like the
Mhm.
management part. It's like okay, I want to grow this thing now. How do we scale?
Yeah, yeah, we're right there, you know. So it's gonna happen. So yeah,
What were
it's like
some of the
we're
biggest mistakes you've made?
For us, I think, one of the things we changed with our cap, and we noticed it early on that, it was just, maybe not simplifying, like something with our cap there. We had it to where you just had to twist the straw in and get the friction would hold the straw. And it was really easy to take apart to clean, but if people just didn't go like that, like when people were hiking, it could fall out the bottle inside the bottle, and that's annoying because now you're hiking and you're like, I'm
Yeah,
out of water, and it's not working. So that was like really a thing that that we changed and did that. We did some things where, like I said, I think I mentioned it. We really didn't have a big. Well, I never had like Facebook or any type of social media, and so we really. We just kind of growing, and we hired some, and they did a good job, but it was kind of hard to keep our kind of pulse on everything. We had some people helping us with our social media, and it was kind of just not as authentic as what we are. So, but really from the
yep,
start, like some things that have been awesome is like like for one, Dustin and I are great friends, and we both have different. He's an engineer, and I'm a guy that enjoys the outdoors, and but we're great friends, and we kind of work in different areas, so we're excelling like that. But it's hard for me to really look at Hardside and find much negative because or maybe things we could have. Yeah, there's probably some things to look back and wish we would have done a little differently, but overall, it's just kind of been a wonderful experience, and made a lot of friends just in other hunting companies, and just all the events I get to go to and meet folks. It's been wonderful, and yeah, it's been fun to kind of have my kids. My oldest son is 13, so we launched this. He was 9, so. For him to be able to, for the kids to be able to be part of it and kind of see how to start a business, and how it can go, and they help us out, and it's been great. So
yeah, man. It's we made some major mistakes. So some of them in the same alley. Some of them are kind of similar, like these product mistakes, right? Like we made our first products, like we ended up hiring a marketing company. And we ended up losing like 25 grand. And at the time, like 25 grand was like a lot
right.
of money for us. Right? It was like this is going to hurt us big time. Like that's a lot of that's. And we have another marketing company that we use, and we gladly pay them a lot of money every month, and they crush for us, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like one thing we're known for is our advertising. Like we've got marketing
Oh,
down right,
dude,
right?
love it.
Whether you love it or hate us, we have a lot of people hate us because of it too. I had some guy in a
I love it.
speedo this morning, like talking crap to me. He's like, his profile picture is him on his Speedo, like doing like, and I'm like, you can't talk. Oh, spamming my thing. I'm like, bro, you can't talk crap if you're wearing a Speedo as your profile pic, douche. But so if you're listening to this Speedo guy, there you go. There's your 5 minutes of fame. You're out there with your Speedo on, talking crap on my ads. But we made a lot of mistakes on that front. We made product mistakes, right? Some of our first products. Even on new products that we make, we've made mistakes and had to make changes, right? We've had to, I've had issues like even when I launched the BP Panhead, like it didn't close down all the way. We had arc plate sliding on us, right? And I had to pivot and like I had to repair, 1,000 BPs. You know what I mean? Like I had some issues with glue and like there's always sorry, I'm reading a text on my screen. There's
No,
always things that are gonna go wrong in business, right? It's not a matter of like it's like making your failures become successes, right? And learning from them, right? And I think you guys have been really good at that too, with like getting customer feedback and making changes and pivoting a little bit. As long as it's within what your original idea was, you can only do so much on your own, right? Like I can only
mhm.
do so much in my own design, and then I have to, and then once I release it, you get the Monday morning quarterbacks, right? Everyone comes in, they Monday morning quarterback it, blah, blah, blah. And yes, sometimes I just like blow it off, like I'm not gonna make that change. Sometimes I hear those morning quarterback things. I'm like, that's a really good idea. So now next version will be changed with that little change in there, right? But the structure is still there. The structure of a cap, a straw, a hose is still on a hard side, but you can make little tweaks to it, whether it be adding a filter or changing the way the straw twists on, and you continue just to grow that product. And I think that's an important part of business is being having that nimbleness to be able to make those calls and also the humility to not be too prideful not to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, following, listening to the feedback and, just calling, talking with, spending that time to talk with the customers or at, these events we go to are great to kind of get somebody's, face to face, like, what are you, why aren't you using that? How can we make it better? Oh, and you find out it's this little thing that, that either they're, so it's, yeah, I'm somebody that, I love I love people in person, like, that stuff. So, yeah, it's taking that feedback and, and figuring out how to make it better. So,
So I could tell you that I am your biggest fan. You and your partner are incredible, just incredible human beings. You're fun to be around. Your smiles are contagious, and you love doing what you do. And I'm always pushing you guys, whatever I am, if I'm on a podcast talking about how great Hardside is. Because I mean, it's a 30, am I wrong? 35, 30, $40 kit. What does this kit cost now? Somewhere around there, right?
just if you already have the bottle, you're right in that range. It's like $36 to $38. We'll get put it on
Whatever.
any
It was
Nalgene
about
Yeti.
$40, dude. It's the
40
cheapest piece of
bucks.
gear you'll buy this season, and it will change your life when it comes to backpacking. Like I am a
Yeah.
huge fan of Hardside. Spend the $40, put it on your pack, try it out. If you don't like it, it was $40. It's not like going out and buying a new cartridge or spending 2 grand on a scope. It just it's worth it. You'll love it. And if you don't like it, I'll buy it from you and I'll put it on one of my kids' packs. So I think I have three
Yeah.
setups already now, but we're all running them now. And I'm a big fan of them. Dude, you know how we end this thing? We always end this thing with a hunting story, man. Give us a hunting story.
All right. So, hunting story for me. Let's see. I'll go. Yeah, I had a great hunt last year, and uh, we hunted hard in archery in Montana, and this is it's my first year as being a Montana resident. So, but Dustin and I were able to get out and doing a lot of archery hunting, and um, was able to scout out an area and kill the nice bull elk. And it was like midday, and of course, he's still doing his other job, but was able to bail out and give me a hand out there. But we had a wonderful season last year. Probably always the highlight for me is going to be my kids. But I had a good hunt, but um, we did have a really good. There's a lot of where I live in Montana. There's a lot of good whitetail deer hunting as well. It's easier for the kids, but your bipod would have come in really handy. But we had my son was out there, and his brother. They do a youth deer hunt in Montana, and it's a great hunt, and it's a 2 day thing there. But yeah, my oldest son shot a buck and had a good time with that. And in the evening, my son was out there, and we were getting ready to, I take a deer and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, hold on a second, buddy. And out of the timber came a nice buck stepped out. And my son, he would have been 11 at the time. He was able to, shoot his biggest buck to date. And so that was my probably the highlight of my fall last year. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's always my highlight too, is getting the kids their first animals, getting their kids their deer. I didn't shoot a deer for like 4 years. I was just guiding for so long for my kids, and this year my 11-year-old is of age. I took him to Africa last week. He killed 3 animals, and I'm just getting him ready for this season. I already know like his kid's gonna shoot a giant or in New Mexico. I shouldn't
Yeah.
say giant. He's gonna shoot a buck in New Mexico, and it's just I can't wait for that. We should have an Arizona tag. We'll hunt San Diego as well, but I mean, that's always a crapshoot for us on whether we can even find a buck. But man, like that's where it's at, dude. Is hunting with kids, dude. So you know what, you guys, you're listening to this podcast. Go support Hardside Hydration. It's a family business. Guys got kids. You got to pay for school bills, doctor bills, all that stuff. Go buy some Hardside, man. $40. The best $40 you're gonna spend. I guarantee it. I'll put my name on Hardside Hydration every day and stand behind these two because I love what they're doing. I love what they're about. I love what they support. Dane, where can we find you guys?
You can find us at Hardside Hydration on Instagram, Facebook stuff. Our website's hardsidehydration.com and Shield Stores, Go Hunt. That's where you can pick up our product. But yeah, give us a call and let's chat, man. We're mostly right through the website. Get a hold of us. So
What tack events will you guys be at?
we will be at Montana. I'll be in Montana and South Dakota. Him and his little boy are gonna head down to Colorado at Purgatory, and I'll be at Solitude. So I'll be at three. We're doing the Western events this year. There
Nice.
again, Drew. We need to be at all of them, but with juggling the other job, yeah. But no, we're at
Yeah,
four
I don't
events,
know if
all the
I'll be at.
Western. Yeah,
I don't know if I'll be at any of them. I might try and make it to one. We're at four. We're at both Utahs, Colorado, and Montana this year. I don't know if I'll make it to any of them, but I might try and fly into the one in late July just for the weekend, go in there and do that event and just shoot one. I like to go to at least one to shoot it. I'm just it
yeah.
doesn't line up. I'm just traveling too much with other stuff. But man, thank you so
You
much,
got a
Dane, for
bear
coming
hunt
on.
coming
Let's
up
do it
then?
again, bro. I
Yeah,
got a
let's
bear
do it,
hunt
man.
coming
All
up
right,
next week, dude. I'm flying to Montana. I'm flying to Montana
awesome.
next week to go get a bear killed. So
All
it'll
right,
be
get it
good.
done, man.
It'll all be filmed. I know I'll be running my hard side on that one. You'll be
All right.
in a famous Tricer film. All right. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Drew.